Hello everyone and welcome to another casual review. Today I'm talking about Super Mario RPG. This is the Nintendo Switch remaster of the original Super Nintendo game. I never had played the original, but I heard really good things about it, so I was excited to get my hands on this one because I was able to play the game in a more modern setting. So I can't exactly say what they have changed aside from the graphics compared to the original. In this game, it starts off with the typical Bowser kidnaps Princess Peach and Mario needs to rescue her, but then a giant sword crashes into Bowser's castle and a new enemy organization comes to light called the Smithy Gang. I really like Mario RPGs when they have unique enemies and characters rather than just using the typical Toads and Goombas and Bowsers. And this game definitely delivers on that. The Smithy Gang is like a bunch of humanized weapons, so like walking spears and swords and hammers and that kind of thing. You won't just be fighting the Smithy Gang, there are also more organic enemies that you will frequently be encountering. It's just the Smithy Gang is usually the main bosses that you have to confront before you gather the stars. True to RPG fashion, there are 7 stars that are scattered throughout the land that we need to recover in order to repair Star Road and to finally confront Smithy, the head of Smithy's gang. In terms of allies, you will have 4 companions that will go with you on your journey. This may be seen as light spoilers for some of you, so just be aware. The first ally that you come across is somebody who identifies as a frog. He's like this pudgy looking white thing called Mallow. And I feel like Mallow is the only character in our party that really gets any kind of major storytelling or character development. He's got this whole mysterious backstory to him, which I won't go into here, but yeah, I just feel like Mario doesn't get much. He never really does in terms of character development. And then the other characters that I'll go into, they get introduced and they have their motivations, but there's not much that gets revealed about them as the gameplay goes on. The next character on the list is fan favorite Geno, and Geno is like the star spirit from Star Road. Star Road has this purpose of granting people their wishes, and without wishes, the world is in turmoil, and so this spirit, Geno, was sent to try and collect all 7 of the stars. And so this star spirit basically inhabits this doll. People really like Geno. On the internet, lots of people rave about the uniqueness of Geno, and I remember back when we didn't know who all of the secret characters were in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Everyone wanted Geno as a playable character. I can see why people really enjoy him. He's unique looking, he's cool, he's stoic, he's also really strong. Oftentimes in my party you can have up to 2 party members, so you have to play as Mario, and then I had Mallow and Geno. And Geno was just really strong and he's super speedy. Mallow was really good with using magic, and so you could basically use Mallow's beginning level spell that doesn't take very much FP, and it hits all enemies, and usually it will destroy all enemies. So Mallow was definitely integral for doing those AoE attacks, and Geno was really good at doing these single target massive hits. It was really fun playing this Super Mario RPG because it was basically like the beginning Mario RPG. It was before Paper Mario, it was before Mario and Luigi, and so the idea of Bowser joining your team and actually being a team member, I think was a really novel idea for this game. Now, we have since seen Bowser team up with Mario and friends plenty of times afterwards, but I think, I could be mistaken, but this is the first time that it actually does it. And Bowser joins up your team because he wants to reclaim his castle. He wants to be the main bad guy in this land, and he can't do that with the Smithy Gang around. I didn't really use Bowser that much. Yeah, he kind of hit strong, but I don't feel like he really did anything too amazing. He was fun to have along the journey for story purposes, like we would use him to try and break down doors and things like that. But there wasn't anything else that was like really interesting interesting about him that I haven't seen already from a Super Mario RPG's successors. The final party member is Princess Peach, and Princess Peach usually is the damsel in distress, and she is at the beginning of this game, but eventually she joins your party. I didn't use Princess Peach too much either. Princess Peach kind of plays the role as your healer and the person who revives your KO party members. As far as my technique for combat goes, I kind of went with the best defense is good offense, take them down before they can do any damage to you, and so oftentimes I didn't have a need for a healer, but for certain bosses who hit really hard, she definitely came in clutch. The combat works similar to how you would imagine Paper Mario and Luigi games. It does that active timing button presses where if you want to maximize your damage, you have to press the correct input at the correct time. Sometimes they have you mash A as much as possible. Sometimes you just have to press A right at the peak hitting time in order to maximize the damage. Certain special abilities require you to like rotate the analog stick and stuff, but most of the time it is just pressing A at the right time to maximize your damage. And then when you want to defend against enemies, you just have to press A to block enemy attacks. These were pretty difficult to pull off, especially because the attacks that you're doing on enemies, they don't actually make contact with the enemy, so you just have to get used to, oh, I press A when my hammer is all the way back, not when it makes contact with the enemy, or I have to press A right when I land on top of an enemy. And so it took a little bit of practice. I never quite got down the defending, especially whenever I encountered a new enemy, and it does give you a little exclamation point when you're first using like a new ability or you're encountering an enemy, but the timing window for these blocks and these attacks are very, very slim, and so it just takes practice, and most of the time I couldn't quite get the hang of the defending, which usually isn't that big of a deal because I can usually take down the enemies before they hit me, but when they do, oh boy, do they hit pretty hard. There are also certain enemy attacks that you cannot defend. Usually they are like AoE attacks that hit all of your party members, or status effects which put your character to sleep or turn them into a scarecrow or something like that. Another reason why getting hit by a boss attack in particular is detrimental is because whenever you level up, you kind of have the option to either boost up your physical attack and defense, your HP pool, or your magic attack and defense. And I never really upgraded my HP pool. I always just wanted to boost up my physical attack in particular, or my magic attack if it's Mallow that we're talking about. And so by the end of the game, I think that my HP, it was significantly lower than maybe it should have been, and so some end game boss attacks could potentially take down my guys in one hit. I was able to manage though, especially because they give you plenty of restoration items that can revive your characters or heal your characters, and then if you just have Peach handy, Peach can always revive your characters or heal them up as well. It does this very nice thing that where when one of your party members faints, you are able to swap them out for a different party member without even having to take up one of their turns. I do wish initiating combat was more similar to something like Mario and Luigi, where if you jump on them or if you hit them with a hammer, then you can start out the combat with a freebie attack, essentially. That wasn't really the case here. Just if the enemy runs into you or you run into them, the combat will start. One of the really cool things about this game is you basically have this meter, and as you are successfully fulfilling these defenses or extra attacks, then this meter will fill up, and then you kind of are trying to build up this combo of successfully blocking and attacking. And as this combo gets higher and higher, your meter will fill up more and more. And once this meter is completely full, then you can do like this super ultra attack with your 3 party members, and it will vary depending on the combination of 3 characters that you have. Cinematically, these are very, very exciting. If you do tend to play with the same characters over and over again, though, you'll probably get to the point where you want to skip these attack animations because they can tend to run a little bit long. If you successfully defeat an enemy, occasionally you have this random chance of either doubling your XP or your coins, and then you play a little mini game where Yoshi goes into an egg and there are 2 other eggs, and then these 3 eggs spin around and you have to decide which egg the Yoshi is in. If you guess correctly, then you'll double your XP or your coins. If you guess incorrectly, then you kind of lose out on that. Now, it's really not that difficult. Admittedly, I did mess up a couple of times, but most of the time I was able to successfully guess where the Yoshi was and you get double XP or coins, which is always nice. There's equipment. The equipment itself is not that complicated. Basically, if you want the strongest equipment, whenever you go to a new town, you go talk to the shopkeep and upgrade your 5 characters with the best equipment. Occasionally, you will find equipment hidden in the wild that could be potentially better than what you already have. Most of the stuff that you're going to find in the wild are these accessories, which provide immunities to certain status effects. There are some really powerful accessories that you can get with this special resource, these green coins. Basically, I spent these green coins on accessories which increase the amount of XP that I get, because it's always better to level up faster. And so Mario in particular was at a much higher level than the rest of the party members, because he was the first one that I equipped with this like extra experience. You can also find these green coins by encountering special enemies that are extra strong compared to their normal counterpart, or you can find these hidden chests around the world, and if you open one, usually they'll give you a green coin. There's several different mini games throughout the story as you are playing through, and usually they just give you like some extra coins or whatever, but it does kind of help break the gameplay. For instance, there's one where you're chasing down this guy up a mountain, and you have to avoid like shy guys behind you and then barrels running toward you, and if you successfully jump on a barrel or a shy guy, then you'll get closer to the guy that you're chasing. Sometimes you're like going down a river and you have to like move your barrel to avoid oncoming obstructions or collect coins, things like that. There is a decent amount of platforming in this game as well. The platforming is kind of difficult for me to visualize because it's with this isometric view, and it seems like sometimes when I'm trying to jump from platform to platform, it's kind of hard to get that angle that I can properly visualize how far away I'm needing to jump or what direction I'm needing to jump. Usually it's not like the end of the world if you miss a platform. Basically, like you'll fall into the lava, then go back to the beginning section of that platforming area, and then you just try it again. Visually, I think this game, this remaster in particular, looks really good. The characters themselves are kind of stubby looking. I think it's trying to match the proportions of the original Super Nintendo game. I really enjoyed like the cinematics where they introduced characters or bosses, and then the super special attacks that I was talking about earlier. And I do feel like a lot of the characters themselves are unique looking. Like the Toads, yeah, they're Toads, but they have like hair and they have unique outfits. I also do appreciate a lot of the humor in this game. Now, it's not like super funny like a Paper Mario game would be, but there are humorous moments. For instance, like Mario, he doesn't talk, and so when he's trying to explain an event that happened, he kind of like morphs his body proportionally to look like the thing he's trying to talk about. Sometimes he just straight up turns into the enemy for the visual storytelling. There's just a lot of charm put into the world itself. I was fairly entertained story-wise throughout the whole game. Now, that isn't actually saying that much though, because as far as RPGs go, this game is extremely short. It's only about 11 hours to play through. I didn't 100% complete this game, but I feel like I did a majority of the stuff that was available to me, which is fine with me. I like a more concise, compact RPG that kind of trims all the fat. I hate when RPGs try to add a bunch of filler just with the purpose of extending the gameplay, and so 11-hour RPG was just fine with me. I didn't feel like there was a ton of filler that I had to trudge through in this game. Overall, I'm actually very surprised with this game. I do kind of want to go back and play the original Super Nintendo version, having played this remaster, and just kind of compare and contrast the differences. But I had a lot of fun with this game, and I can't believe it took me this long to play Super Mario RPG. This is like the first RPG, way before Paper Mario and the Mario and Luigi series, and I can definitely see where those series got their roots from now. I'm actually going to give this game a 5 out of 5. I had a lot of fun with it. I never felt bored. I was always excited to play it. It always felt like I was making progress. The combat, while it took some getting used to, I enjoyed. If you're a fan of Paper Mario or the Mario and Luigi series, I definitely think that you'll get a kick out of playing this one as well. Well guys, that's it for me. Let me know if you have any questions or comments about Super Mario RPG, and I'd love to hear what you have to say. Otherwise, I'll talk to you later. Bye!